Ready. Play.
Good afternoon, everybody. Just finishing my lunch, so I apologize for that. The players are now coming on court. I can see Felix entering the arena right now, to the delight of the crowd. Let's put that up on there for you as well. Let me know your thoughts in the live chat regarding this match. Excuse me for the final munches on my lunch, but it is lunchtime here in Europe. Let me know where you're watching this match from as well. Are you excited? Are you pumped? You can see Casper Ruud now coming onto the court as well. Are you excited for this match? Are you pumped? What are your thoughts ahead of maybe it's one of the lesser exciting matches perhaps of these first 2 days? I'm sure many people are very excited to see Djokovic and Nadal in action in their separate matches tonight and tomorrow night. But also Medvedev, Tsitsipas should be an amazing match too. So let me know your thoughts on that. Let me give you my thoughts. I think Felix, for me, has to be the hot favorite today. He's been in scintillating form over the last couple of months since the US Open on the indoor hard courts here in Europe. And I mean, don't forget, he beat Djokovic at the Laver Cup. Now, I know you may have question marks over the validity of that victory, bearing in mind Djokovic may have been carrying a slight injury by then. And also, of course, it was the Laver Cup. Nevertheless, he did win that match. But even more impressively since then, of course, he's won 3 tournaments. In fact, he won 3 tournaments back-to-back. Possibly most impressively in Basel when he beat Holger Rune. And we know how good he is in straight sets in that final. I think that final win as well has aged pretty well as the players are now on court. Okay. I'm going to go for, therefore, I'm going to go for Casper to lose this match. I'm going to go for Felix in straight sets. Let me know your thoughts. Let's put my prediction up on the screen, and that way you can tease me about it afterwards. There we go. Cool. Felix in straight sets for me. They're now having their little chat at the net. We've got the umpire as well talking to the 2 players. So Felix in straight sets is my prediction. I should probably write that prediction rather than the match being over, because, of course, it's a long way from that stage right now. Let's have that now on the screen. Let me know your thoughts on the match in the live chat. Let me know your thoughts on the tournament. Who's your favorite? We had, of course, Mario on the show the other day predicting that Taylor Fritz would make it out of the group at the expense of Felix. Taylor Fritz, of course, in action later against Rafa Nadal. Not only that, he had Medvedev to win the whole tournament, beating Djokovic in the final. So a few shocks in Mario's mind. He took a risk, as he said. And as I said, I think we like a risk on this channel. So the players now just warming up there, as we can see, as I prepare my coffee, which I'm going to obviously need for keeping us going for the next 2 hours. By the way, again, my team, Manchester United, are in action again today. So I'm hoping that one of these 2 players can get this job done before 4 o'clock Central European time. So that way I can relax and enjoy that match. But of course, you as an audience may well be excited about a potential 3-setter. I don't see it going that way. I do see Felix being the man in form. Casper Ruud is 2-4 since the US Open. So he's won 2 matches, lost 4. I would say the loss to Stan Wawrinka, bit underwhelming. Just looking at the group, of course, Nadal and Fritz make up this group. So they will be in action later. Let me know who you think is coming through from the group. I would say Rafa and probably Felix, I guess, would be the kind of obvious choices, perhaps. Although maybe some of you have Taylor Fritz. For me, Casper Ruud is the outsider. Am I being harsh on the Norwegian by placing him as the outsider? I don't know. For me, it is Felix's arguably to lose this group. I think he's been quite fortunate, perhaps, with the draw, and yeah, I think he'll be pretty content. There's no guarantees, of course, in this sport. As we look at Casper Ruud, there are 9 titles in total in his career. The 23-year-old, he's 1.83 m. Maybe some of you might be a bit surprised about that. Obviously, it's the forehand that he'll be hoping that maybe fires him to victory today. But listen, we've had Jack on the show recently as well, talking about the unbelievable spot serving of from Félix. So that cannot be discounted either. And I think that's probably what's going to help him big style in this tournament. Casper there waving to the almost capacity crowd. Very good news, I think, compared to, say, the WTA finals, which was, in terms of crowd attendance, was very underwhelming recently. Casper, of course, has Casper had a good year? Of course, he's had a good year, but there will be some regret, particularly, I think, about the US Open final. I heard Gil Gross saying the other day he was very impressed with the way Carlos Alcaraz served that day, and that's, to be fair, it's true. But it just got away from Casper, didn't it, at the end of that third set, when it was 1 set all, and it was the tiebreaker, and he just, for 5 minutes, he was gone. And that was basically what cost him the match. Félix, of course, having a 10 centimeter height advantage. He's only won 4 titles in total. And of course, Félix, by the way, had, of course, this issue in terms of finals. He had a run, I think, of 8 finals in a row where he lost them all. But now he's turned the corner. He won in Rotterdam, of course, in February, just after the Australian Open. I think Félix has had a pretty good year as well. For either of these two players, if either of them win this tournament, I think it would cap off a marvelous year. I think if neither of them win it, maybe Félix would have 1 or 2 regrets about Wimbledon first round, Cressy, and all that. As Félix waves to the crowd, I should imagine they'll be starting in about 2 or 3 minutes. Let me know your predictions, people. As warming up. The head-to-head is 2-1 in Casper's favor, actually, interestingly enough. They last met at the ATP Masters 1000 in Canada, where Casper Ruud won comfortably, losing just 3 games in a straight set win. Casper's form, though, at that point was far, far better. Going into that tournament in Montreal, he was purring, let's say. I would say he's barely meowed since the US Open. Do you like the cat analogies there, or are they metaphors? I never know. The roof, by the way, seems a bit low. I remember when I was in Paris last week, seeing a few balls actually hit not the roof, but the advertising part. And I think that's something that indoor tennis maybe needs to be aware of. Hi, Ghosty. Ghosty getting a bit of soccer action in there. Are you excited about the World Cup, by the way? I got my muffin here. I can't finish my muffin. You can barely see it's a chocolate muffin that I'm having alongside my coffee, but there's no time right now. No muffins, of course, for the players. What do we think about that? Should the players have muffins? Should that be a handicap maybe for some of the players? For those of you that are losing, you can have a banana. For those of you that are winning, you must have this huge chocolate muffin between games. Ghosty, what's your prediction? So you've got Félix in 2 sets, okay. And Harry Maguire will underwhelm the fans. I suppose he won't be playing for United today because I think it'll probably be Varane's injured, of course. So it'll probably be Martinez and Lindelof at centre half. But I know he's referring to the World Cup, of course. What are your thoughts for the tournament, Ghosty? Are you having Djokovic to win? By the way, Casper Ruud is to serve first. So we're about to start the match. Let's get that off the screen, therefore. Get back to your comments. So, Casper Ruud to serve. First serve of this ATP Tour Finals. Goes down the tee, backhand return. It's a good backhand return from Félix, but I think he's gone long. 15 love to Casper Ruud. He's always excited about the World Cup. Nice. Casper down the tee, but it's a fault. Second serve. Backhand return, forehand Casper Ruud, forehand slice into the net from Félix, and it is 30 love. Casper's father and coach, of course, in the crowd, Christian Ruud. We saw some faces that Casper pulled towards his father in what can I do sort of faces at the French Open final this year against Rafa. Not many people know what to do against Rafa and Félix Auger-Aliassime, to be fair. Backhand return has gone long from Félix, so it's 40 love. Sky's the limit for Félix. Not a fan of Ruud's style, both as a player and a personality. I like his personality. He's a nice guy, wish him well, but French Open and US... Yeah, I think that's fair. The US Open, French Open may well be his peak. Many people may disagree with that, but let's see. I mean, if he wins this tournament, would that be a bigger achievement than reaching those finals? Arguably. I just don't know how well he'll be in these companies. It's a good forehand defensive return there. And it's the first game for Casper Ruud after an unforced error. I think that was a poor shot really from Félix where he clips the top of the net because Casper was in all sorts of trouble, but did really well on the forehand defensive shot there. So it's now 1 game to love. What do we think of my my logo bar?
Ready. Play.
Do we like that? Let me know in the live chat what you think. Is it lame? Do you like it? Shall we keep it or bin it? Keep or bin? Okay, so Félix now to serve. He's been mightily impressive. I think it was 86 games in a row he won on serve. Something like that. It might have even been a bit more. Yeah, I think you're right. I think he is a bit annoyed. Baby Mac, yeah, that's a nice comparison. Ah, Ghosty, spreading the love. Nice. So, 1 love, Casper Ruud. Félix to serve. By the way, this Turin tournament feels almost identical to London. I mean, in the color, in the everything. Okay, here we go. Goes down the tee, backhand return from Casper, but he's gone. No, he's not. Good shots there from Félix. Still on love all on the mid of the rally. Good slice there. Casper's into the net. Oh, that's wild though from Félix. Love 15, yet to win a point. That's 5 points in a row now for the Norwegian. Frédéric Fontaine, Félix's coach. Of course, he has also had Tony Nadal on his team, and there's Tony watching his man. Tony Nadal supporting Félix, who's in the same group as Rafa, his nephew, whilst wearing a Rafa Nadal Academy t-shirt. Thoughts? Goes down the tee. That's a good serve, and it's an ace to win his first point of these ATP Tour Finals. Félix, you're on the board in terms of points at least. Is he not even in the squad, Ghosty? But I do have thoughts. I think he's just not playing well enough to be in the team. That's for sure. Just players playing better than him. Martial, Rashford, Garnacho. And that's before we even mention players like Sancho. Okay, Félix to serve. Backhand return from Casper. Forehand from Félix. Sticking to that backhand of Casper's. Now he goes into the forehand, though, of Casper. And Casper goes long on the forehand. It's 30-15 for Félix. Maybe Ghosty. I think he also thought that... I think Ronaldo may well have thought that perhaps United were going to return to winning ways a bit sooner than they have done. I mean, obviously, last year was a disaster. Maybe he just thought that there was a potential rise for the team, but it just never materialized. And now Ronaldo's just not playing well enough. Is that his age? Quite possibly. 40-15 for Félix, who is playing well enough and certainly has age on his side. Nice segue alert. Tops up coffee. And yes, for those of you wondering, I am drinking my coffee from this Talking Tennis mug. Going to get some merchandise, people. Are we excited? Going to have a website soon. Well, that's a very poor serve from Félix. Is way out wide, and it's a fault. Yeah, going to have some merchandise, going to have a website coming soon. Exciting times. Talking tennis. Going to be covering the match, of course, tonight as well, between Rafa and Fritz. Backhand return from Casper. Forehand now, Casper. Forehand to the backhand of Casper. Backhands to backhands right now. Oh, good shot on the backhand there from Casper Ruud. Now he's on the forehand. He goes for the drop shot. He's gone out. It's gone wide. He's going to challenge it, I think, but 1-1. No scarves planned. That's an interesting, maybe that's a gap in our repertoire. He is challenging this. Ooh. It's out, but it's actually really close. Much closer than I thought. So 1 game all. Both players off the mark. No bagels in this first set. Branded scarves. Yeah, anyway, yeah, that's an interesting gap in our repertoire. Perhaps we should fix that. I'm planning mugs. I'm planning T-shirts. I'm planning hoodies. You know, hipster hoodies, Ghosty. I know you're a hipster. Don't we all, Ghosty? Don't we all? My coffee looks good in turquoise too. Casper Ruud, anyway, gesticulating to the umpire about something that's distracting him. She gets the walkie-talkie out. Oh yeah, you will, Ghosty. You absolutely will. What are your predictions? So you've got Felix to win in straight sets, Ghosty, and you're going for Djokovic for the tournament. Yeah, both of those are sound, safe predictions. Unlike Mario the other day, who went for Medvedev to win all 5 of his matches. Actually, that's not in the pipeline either. Casper's going to have to serve well today, and is he going to have his backhand firing too? Because I imagine he's going to have plenty of practice. To be fair, his backhand has looked okay in the first 2 games, and maybe even better than okay. Second serve into the backhand of Felix again. Forehand, he runs around the backhand there, Casper. Backhand now of Casper, as I suggested. Forehand of Felix, now it goes to the forehands. They're just exchanging forehands right now. Backhand slice from Felix, getting good depth, by the way, on some of his shots, although Casper's now really probably in charge of this rally, pushing his player around somewhat. This is a good rally. Good backhand there. Oh, no, it's not. It's clipped the net and it's gone over the net and it's gone out. So it's love 15. Felix winning his first point of the match on his opponent's serve. 6 people now watching live. Exciting times. 5 of you now watching live. Hit that like button. And down to 2. What am I saying? I shouldn't even talk about it. John, keep quiet. Get back to the tennis. Like button. Subscribe. Love 15. Anyone the Casper Ruud serve? Predictions in the live chat. What is Rafa Nadal's next injury going to be? Casper Ruud ace, by the way, 15 all. What is he going to have next? I mean, his knees were constant for the first sort of half of his career. Obviously, he's had the foot thing on and off throughout his career, but more so lately. Wrists, elbows, shoulders, of course. Ribs, abdomen. Hip, I think he might have had a hip injury as well. Forehand now, Felix. Backhand of Casper. Backhand to backhand right now. Felix tries to change it up and loses the point as a result. And it goes into the tram line. 30-15. No fireworks as yet, with neither player under super pressure on their serve. But he's had blisters and wrist injuries before. I mean, the blisters has been pretty bad for him on occasions. And I remember wrist as well, injury he had about 3 years ago. I think it meant he pulled out of Paris-Bercy. Casper Ruud ace there, 40-15. Casper serving well so far. Goes to the forehand. No, it's a fault, so it's a second serve for Felix to look at. I don't think either player has yet to score 2 points on their opponent's serve as we hit the 12th minute. Casper goes to the forehand of Felix, backhand Casper. Backhand slice from Felix. Backhand slice from Casper into the net. And as I say, neither player's had 2 points on their serve or on their opponent's serve. Felix gets to 2 points. It's now 40-30. Ghosty, I think he does tend to hold it pretty tightly. But the other thing as well is I think he holds it quite low down the racket. But he doesn't really suffer from the blisters anymore because I think he has lots of protection, whereas early in his career, he had a bit less. But he certainly, if you watch him serve, his hand is pretty almost right at the bottom of the racket. I thought it was an interesting comment he made this year when he was lamenting the fact that he had to pull out of Wimbledon. He said, the ball was feeling good in my hands. And I think that just meant he was feeling pretty confident as the tournament progressed. Somebody else who should be feeling pretty confident right now is Casper Ruud as they have their break. He's up 30-15. Sorry, he's up 2 games to 1, I should say. John, learn the tennis rules would help. Interesting what's going on Twitter. Any exciting things? The wait is over, says the ATP Tour Finals. Let's maybe share this, shall we? Shall we share this? They're just on the changeover right now, by the way, if you're wondering what's going on. TFO in New York will be a tough matchup for anyone. Yeah, quite possibly. Coffee almost done. So I'll be out of coffee now for the rest of the match. Might have Miles joining us at some stage. Pretty early, of course. He's in Central Time, I think, in the US. So, yeah, pretty early where he is right now. 2-1, Felix to serve. That's a solid start for Casper. How many likes are we on, Ghosty? I feel as though you're almost part of the team. Well, I'd like to thank my team today, which includes Ghost of Gerolitis. They are indeed Ghosty. I had a bit of a ping pong mashup last night. We had lots of ping pong matches going on. A few beers were sunk. Had a good evening. Forehand return from Casper, but it's a stretch. It's now on the backhand, and it's not going to make it over the net. So it's 15 love for Felix. Yeah, lots of ping pong happening last night. No video evidence, I'm afraid. Yeah. Yeah, so we had a bit of a ping pong night last night. I love the ping pong. Probably my second favorite racket sport. You'll never guess what the first one is. Thoroughly love Felix. Both players looking super comfortable on their serve. Not even had a juice yet. Well, chocolate muffins are being sunk right now. And then I'm done. I'm on the water for the rest of the day. Backhand, forehand Felix. Forehand Casper goes into the net. 2 games all. Yeah, it's okay. Badminton's all right, but it's way down my list. Ping pong I love. Tennis, of course. Playing and watching. Squash, I never really got into, maybe partly because it's just such a big effort. I'm going to be super fit. But, you know, I like all racket sports, really, but no, not really badminton. 2 games all. Casper to serve. Goes to the forehand of Felix. Got away with that one, I think, because Felix put it into the net. It was a first serve, but it was attackable, I would say. But Felix puts it into the net, so it's 15-love. By the way, some things that are going to be coming your way on Talking Tennis. Obviously, we're going to cover this tournament wall to wall. We're going to be doing the 10 minutes will be coming up as well. I'm having pretty much daily 10 minutes for you. So we'll be reviewing the days or the previous day's play as Felix puts a forehand into the tram line. Yeah, we're going to be having basically, I think we should be covering I think we'll cover every match live throughout this ATP Tour Finals week. On top of that, we'll be having the 10 minutes for you, which if you're not familiar with, it's basically a daily review, either of the previous day's play or the day's play. Hopefully, we'll be doing that for you every day. Certainly plan on having one tomorrow morning around about 9 o'clock Central European time. So you may, if you're in the US, have to catch it when you finally wake up. So you might well miss it live, but it'll be on. Be 10 minutes, as I say, every day throughout the tournament. What else is becoming your way? Well, once the tournament's over, you're thinking, oh, tennis is done. Not on Talking Tennis. I'm going to have Simon Chambers on the show in about 10 days from now, maybe 2 weeks from now, reviewing a book that he's just written or co-written with Simon Graf, who, of course, I had Simon Graf on the show recently talking about Stan Wawrinka. Check out that interview I did with Simon, by the way, from a couple of weeks ago. But it was Let's Talk Stan Wawrinka. It was about where he's at right now, but also what he might be able to do in 2023. Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to have Simon Chambers on the show to talk about his book that he's just written, The Roger Federer Effect, or co-written, as I say, with Simon Graf. So that's coming up. And very exciting news as well is that we're going to have a series during the off-season for you of shows as Casper Ruud seals a 3-2 lead at the changeover. Again, very comfortable on serve. In fact, this time not even dropping a point, game to love. A series of the matches of the year. 3 interviews have already been conducted, canned, and ready to. Canned is maybe the wrong way. In the pipeline, they are there. They have recorded. They are done. I spoke to Mark Petchy a couple of days ago. We had a nice chat about the Nadal-Medvedev final, of course, which obviously ranks very highly in most people's lists for matches of the year. Spoke to Pam Shriver as well. Already we chatted about Serena's run at the US Open with a particular focus, of course, on her match against Tomljanovic, but also mentioning the other 2 matches that she played there because they were all sensational in their own different ways. And I've just spoken as well to Owen from Popcorn Tennis. We had a great chat about the Nadal-Djokovic match at the French Open. So they are already there waiting to be published, and they will be published sometime end of November or in December to keep us warm in Europe through those winter months or most parts of the Northern Hemisphere while the tennis is off. Of course, we've got the soccer or football World Cup that begins next Sunday. In fact, they tweaked, I think, the final of this tournament. I think it was going to be in the afternoon, but they've moved it to the evening next Sunday. So it does avoid the opening of the World Cup in Qatar. I will be therefore probably posting my videos, these reviews of the match of the year, probably just to give us some little time in between some of the off days at the World Cup. I think there's after 10 days, there's a couple of days off, and you'll probably be seeing some of these interviews I've just conducted on matches of the year. Let me know in the live chat, what were your matches of the year? By the way, that's just 3. There are more to come. Don't worry. So if you're thinking, what about this match? Don't forget to do one on that one, blah, blah, blah. Then don't worry. They will be coming. But so far, I've done 3. I hope to do at least another 2 or 3 more. But let me know in the live chat. What were your matches of the year? Some of them, of course, quite recently. I think that Holger Rune Djokovic final last week in Paris, Bercy, and the semi-final as well between Djokovic and Tsitsipas was pretty sensational as well. So those two will be ranked highly. Would they make it in your top 5 matches of the year, for example? There you go. Yes, it is indeed. Can of balls, for example. Felix has put a forehand into the tram line. It's only love 15, but that's as close as we've come to a threat on the serve so far, which tells you how comfortable both players have been. Oh, Carl, I hadn't thought of that one, Ghosty. Oh, was that a good match? Yeah, I know. I mean, obviously, Sinner and Carlitos is probably the first one that springs to mind. But I think also on the women's side, we had Krejcikova against Swiatek. That's probably as close as Swiatek was pushed in a way in defeat, if you like. Maybe Sabalenka, Swiatek as well recently at the WTA finals. But the thing is with that third set was kind of empty, if you like, from Swiatek's point of view. Casper here trying to attack a little bit. As Felix comes into the net, though, he's attacking. And that's a good volleyed winner there. Really nicely placed, 15-all. Yeah, but at the Australian Open, we had a few good ones. I think Felix, of course, was involved in a pretty epic match with Medvedev. On the women's side, I vaguely remember Danielle Collins, maybe in the third round in a pretty epic match. Kai Kanepi, wasn't she involved in a few epic matches this year, both in Australia and, of course, in New York against Sabalenka? I guess it depends on the criteria, of course. I also want to have quality, if you like. I want to try and fuse those two things, quality and drama. Because I think other matches, for example, such as maybe, I know people have spoken about Nadal against, that's a good volley at the net. Is it landed in? Yes, it has, I think. So it's 30-15 to Felix. I think, yes, Sabalenka Kanepi, but was it there in terms of quality? That's my question. Yeah, what are the criteria? Good question. So I would say, listen, it has to have drama. It has to have gone to 3 or 5 sets. Of course, the later in a tournament, the better, but not necessarily. If there's a classic first round match, third set tiebreakers in over a 3-set match. 5 sets, of course, super tiebreakers have to be considered. But here's an example of one that probably doesn't make it. I was in the stadium at the time, but it probably doesn't make it because it falls short, maybe on that quality criteria. Despite the absolute drama of Rafa Nadal against Taylor Fritz at Wimbledon, the 5-set match, you could argue that really that just falls a bit short because I think Taylor Fritz in the 5th set probably should have won it, but didn't. Maybe should have won it before. Can you have a top quality match when certain elements are just not there because Rafa can't serve because of an injury? I think it was there in terms of drama, absolutely. Obviously, I think Rafa was 2-1 down at one point. He was kind of in charge of the first set, but still lost it. There was drama throughout. And by the way, on a positive note, Taylor Fritz did play really well for a couple of sets. On top of that, Rafa was sensational for the first 3 games. I remember an overhead he did when I think he may well have made the injury worse because he was actually carrying it into the tournament, but he made it probably worse with an overhead. And then his forehand was obviously sensational in the 5th set. But do you know what I mean? It just doesn't quite tick all the boxes, I think, to make it into the... So whereas Carlitos Sinner just ticks every single box, drama, twists, turns, and absolutely unbelievable level from both players, often at the same time. Boom, there you go. That wasn't very good, though, from Felix as he shanks a forehand. Make sure you hit that like button, people, and don't forget to subscribe. I think we've hit the 500 mark in terms of subscribers, but it would be great to hit 600 before the end of this tournament. Let's get to 600 subscribers, shall we, before next week. Bit of promo. Forehand there from Casper. Still no break points so far, although Casper just puts a forehand into the net. It's now 30-15. Yeah, think about it, Ghosty. Had Maya Pliskova semis at Toronto. Might make a note of that one, actually. I got my notes here on some of the matches of the year. Iga Sabalenka, by the way, at the US Open, I thought was pretty good semi-final. Some twists and turns and drama and very high quality. Had Maya Pliskova. Toronto. Yeah, Serena Tan I thought was pretty good, but I've already kind of done one for Serena, so can't have it all about her despite the absolute legend that she is in this sport. Yeah, although that was pretty dramatic. I mean, she was 4-love up in... People forget that in that tiebreak, she was 4-love up in the super tiebreak. Yeah, had Maya. She's had a good year. She's sort of rising up. Regarding this tournament, by the way, I listened to the Popcorn Tennis podcast earlier today, and I thought there were some interesting points raised from Gil Gross was on there with Jethro and Trihari. One thing that I probably thought was interesting, but I didn't entirely agree with, was the notion that this year's is the highest quality ATP Tour Finals since 20, as Ruud does win this game 4-3, since 2015. For me, first of all, it's missing the world number one. I know there's question marks about where he's at on an indoor hard, but listen, no world number one, injured. It changes the dynamic for this tournament. You put Alcaraz in this group alongside Rafa and Felix, for example, and it's a big difference. And suddenly you're going, oh, okay, that's going to be tough because one of Felix, Rafa, or maybe even two, Rafa and Carlos is going home in the group stage. I think also if you added Holger Rune, for example, if you had this tournament, and let's say you had one group, let's say the other group stays the same with Djokovic, Rublev, Tsitsipas, and Medvedev. Let's keep that group like that. If you then suddenly changed the other group to Holger Rune, Carlos Alcaraz, Rafa Nadal, and Félix Auger-Aliassime. Now that's depth. That would be unbelievable. That would be arguably up there. I think the other thing as well, compared to other years, certainly up until 2019 anyway, we're missing the Federer factor. You know, any tournament that has Federer, Djokovic, and Nadal, wherever they're at in their careers. Hi, Zoltan. Nice to have you on board, by the way. Wherever they're at in their careers, you know, if you've got those three players playing at the same tournament and there's only 8 players there, that's the kind of quality and level and depth that I would say. Another word that Shrihari used, though, was intriguing, and I think that is possibly the case. Maybe it's the most intriguing tournament. But I still think the problem is that there's one, for me, clear favourite. I'm not saying that Djokovic will win, and maybe other people think someone else will win the tournament. I know Mario suggested Medvedev, and Medvedev is certainly a contender. But I think for it to have depth and quality, you have to go into the tournament thinking, I think any one of these 8 players could win it, and you wouldn't be surprised. I think 2019 was probably as close as you could get to that. I'm just trying to remember all the players that were there that year. But I remember there was Medvedev, Zverev, Tsitsipas, and Nadal in one group. And this was 2019 US Open sort of period, or just after the US Open, of course. Medvedev. Now, I know you might say that actually he did have a dip, but you didn't know that going into the tournament necessarily. On top of that, it's probably the best indoor hard court tennis that Rafa Nadal has ever played in his life. He was sensational at the Davis Cup. He was sensational on the hard courts really from August onwards that year, obviously winning in Canada and the US Open. So that would be there. You obviously had Djokovic and Federer. It's probably the last time, I would argue, that we saw Federer at a top level, beating Djokovic in the round-robin group, of course. I would say he wasn't at his top level in Australia and never was again. So I think it's the last time we saw Federer at a top level. And so having Federer and Djokovic in one group and the other 4 players in the others, as I said, for me, that 2019 ATP Tour Finals, and I'm probably missing a few players. Of course, I'm missing 2 players as well. Just trying to think who was in that other group. Oh, Dominic Thiem. My goodness me. How can I forget Dominic Thiem? So you had Dominic Thiem in the same. My goodness me. So you had Tsitsipas, Zverev, Nadal, and Medvedev in one group, and in the other group, my goodness me, Dominic Thiem, Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic, and Matteo Berrettini. To give you an indication, by the way, of how much depth there was, nobody emerged from the group stage unbeaten. And that tells you how competitive it was. The only person to lose all 3 matches was Daniel Medvedev. And I just think that's depth. That's quality. Team Tommy Paul in Vienna. That was a great match too, yeah. By the way, Casper Ruud has 15-30 on the Felix serve. Let's get back to the match because obviously this point will be big. It's a second serve. Felix went down the tee, but he went wide on that one. By the way, Zoltan is my man. If you remember a couple of months ago, I think it was during the US Open, and I was like, Zoltan, if you're watching and you're on the way over, can you bring me a beer? Don't know if you remember that, people. That was in the sunny days of August or beginning of September. Backhand here for, oh, it's gone wide, so it's 30 all. Big point that was, big point, and Felix went for it. Today I'm in need of coffee, actually, although, yeah. Zoltan, by the way, Ghosty was asking about, are they ping pong tables behind you? Yes, they are. And Zoltan was here last night participating in the ping pong mashup that I was highlighting earlier. And Zoltan was on fire. We played 3 games and he won 2. You do the maths. Forehand, Casper Ruud goes long, 40-30 now to Felix. There was a sniff there for Casper. At 15-30, there was a sniff. And also at 30 all there, that was a disappointment. Of course, it's not gone from him this game yet, but 40 from 15-30 to 30 to 40-30, big change. Casper Ruud here. Bobbing up and down, ready to return. Are we going to get a first serve from Felix? I don't think Felix has served sensationally today by his very, very high standards. Second serve here for Felix. Backhand return. Casper's so deep there, even though it was a second serve. So deep in terms of his court position. Forehand, Casper. Forehand. Are we going to get our first juice of the match? Are we going to get a first juice? Backhand from Felix. And Casper goes long on his backhand, so no juice. 4 games all. Both players exceptionally comfortable on serve so far, even though I did sort of say that Felix's serving hasn't been amazing by his very high standards. I think we had a couple of aces maybe from, or 1 ace from Felix. Yeah, look at that one. Is that just 1 ace from Felix? Let's have a look at the stats. Oh, sorry. Three aces from Felix, 2 from Casper. $15 love for Casper Ruud here. For those of you that are new to the channel, make sure you hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Yeah, I'll be bringing you the 10 minutes tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock Central European time, 8 a.m. GMT, and different times elsewhere. I have no idea what time that will be on Eastern time. I'm guessing about 2 or 3 in the morning. So unless you're a late bird, you'll have to catch it when you wake up with your eggs and bacon and coffee and whatever else, muffins and bagels and pancakes. Do you have that every morning in the US? Ghosty, is that your regular diet in the morning to set you up nicely for the day? Have an episode of the 10 minutes and a feast. That'd be a nice start to the day, wouldn't it? Every morning, pancakes, bacon, eggs, potatoes, muffins, and the 10 minutes. Oh, forehand there from Felix into the net. Had an opportunity again, but Felix hasn't returned well so far. .40 love, Casper Ruud. Into the net, so it's a second serve. Backhand Felix, forehand Casper. And the forehand from Felix goes long. It's another game to love for Casper Ruud. So, who is going to end up closing this out? What are our favourite racket sports aside from tennis? So mine's ping pong. Let me know your favourites in the chat. Make sure you give us a follow on Twitter, by the way, at Talking Tennis TT. This video, make sure you hit that like button. Going to be having a website coming your way very soon as well. Keep an eye out for that. And yeah, Mark Petchey, I interviewed him a couple of days ago. It was really nice. Really, really cool. Speak to him because he was in the arena when that classic match between Medvedev and Nadal. The miracle in Melbourne. Who can forget that match? Ghosty, what are your thoughts on now? It's 10 months since it's 10 months since that Australian Open final. What are our thoughts on it since? Do we now put it as an absolute all-time classic? Is it the best match of the year? Is it the best match of the decade? Was it high on drama, but maybe Medvedev should have won it? How does it compare to, say, some of the other classic finals we had in Australia in 2012 or Wimbledon 2008? Where does it rank for you? Is it in the top 10 of matches of all time? Am I getting carried away? That is the best shot he will ever hit, or he has ever hit. Petchy said, I'm calling him Petchy now, like he's my friend. Mark Petchy said in the commentary, alongside his co-commentators as well, who came up with some classics that day. John Fitzgerald is certainly one of them. Felix 15 love. Still no juices yet, which probably tells you everything about this match. $15 love. Felix to serve. It's another ace now for Felix. That's his fifth ace of the match. Looking pretty comfortable at the moment. 30 love. Are we going for a tie break here? Points won on serve. Both have won 83% of their points on serve. So I think they're pretty much dead even then in terms of points won in this match. Five games all. 41 minutes gone. Still no juices. Yeah, the problem with Ash Barty's run in Australia, though, Ghosty, was that she was never really pushed. I mean, Daniel Collins probably should have done so in that final. I think she was a double break. Wasn't she up in a double break in the second set? She was certainly at least one break up. And I thought she would push her to 3 sets. And there were certain moments in that final that were classic, but in the end, straight sets win. And I think she didn't drop a set throughout the tournament, Ash Barty. So it's a bit like Swiatek, through as marvelous as her run was, she was never really pushed that much. So in a way, the matches for Swiatek that stand out are the ones that she lost to Krejcikova in Ostrava, to Sabalenka, for example, recently in the WTA finals, and maybe the one that she won against Sabalenka in New York. But because she's so good and she's had such an amazing year, it's the defeats that stand out for Swiatek. And Ash Barty was going through a similar period. It was, if Ash Barty had lost at the Australian Open, that may have made it. I do too, Ghosty. I do too. But you know what? She might well come back. Maybe not. Many people disagree with me, by the way, but I don't know. She's obviously retired before and come back. Okay, there's a smash here for Casper. He's got it. 40 love. 3 game points to take a 6-5 lead and put the pressure back on his opponent. Casper's been serving well today, barely dropping points. This could be his third. If he does close this out without losing a point, then it'll be his third game, I think, in a row without dropping a point on serve. Yeah, let me know in the live chat. What have been some of your best matches of the year? I think, what about on the men's side? We mentioned quite a few women's now. The men's side. I mean, by the way, Rafa against Alcaraz in Indian Wells was pretty sensational. (6-5). Casper's done well. I mean, if Casper was to win this match, that would change everything. Suddenly you'd be going, well, you've got 1 foot in the semi-finals. If you win your first match is huge. You win the first match, you're in great shape. Maybe. Yeah, I'd like to see her on tour, but hey, listen, that can still happen. I mean, you can have kids and come back. I just hope that she doesn't come back, doesn't leave it too long if she comes back, because sometimes you do see players leave it a few years and then come back, and then it's not quite so glorious. We've seen that in other sports. I remember when Michael Schumacher came back after about 5 years and wasn't quite the same. Oh, I think Felix has gone wide there. He's challenging it, but I think it is wide. It could well be love 15. Let's have a look. For me, it was out. But let's have a look. Oh, no. Clip the line. Clip the line. Love all still. Felix would be disappointed because, of course, he would have won that point. Pretty sure he would have done it. We had a smash to have a look at. 15 love. Felix. Yeah, Kleisters is the one that springs to mind. Yes, I know. Backhand return from Casper. Backhand again, Casper. It's a good one, though. It's a good depth on that one. So it's 15 all, forcing the error from Felix. I'm sure there are, Ghosty. I'm sure there are. Maybe in New York against Shelby Rogers. Was that? That's just sort of one that springs to mind. On Jabeur, Shelby Rogers. US Open. Why am I thinking about that? How did that one go? Was that when that was 3 sets, wasn't it? Yeah, 4-6, 6-4, 6-3. That was pretty good from memory. Maybe I'm sure I'm missing plenty of other ones. I thought there was a lot of interest and intrigue with her Wimbledon final and also her semi-final as well, but I don't think either of them would be all-time classics, even in the context of just a year. But it was exciting. I mean, that was probably more exciting than the sort of men's semis for sure, and men's final. Oh, maybe the men's final was good. Maybe I'm doing it a bit disjustice. Oh, smash there for Felix, 30-15. Yeah, so for example, the semi-final she had ons, and then the final just sort of had just one change of momentum, if you like. And I love it. For example, one of the things that Mark Petchey mentioned the other day to me was the momentum changes and with the Rafa and Medvedev match, because it wasn't just one change of momentum. I mean, Rafa had a lot of momentum in the second set before losing it. There was obviously the love 40 moment, but there was also moments when Medvedev would be fighting back. We also know that Rafa, of course, was serving for the championship, didn't serve it out. So something that Mark said to me the other day was that there was just constant tension. There was no point really when you weren't thinking, this is huge. Every game, even the first 4 games felt huge. Never mind the rest of the match. Never mind the love 40 game that we all remember. Never mind the fact that even after the love 40 game and preceding the love 40 game, Rafa was under pressure on his serve as well. Never mind the fact that Rafa was serving for the second set and then up a mini break in the tiebreak as well. Never mind the fact that Medvedev was, starting to lose it a little bit towards the end of the third set and throughout the fourth, perhaps. There was still just constant tension. Constant. It just never went. And that's one of the things that was just made that so dramatic. Not so much tension today, anyway. Felix has got 2 set points. Hits his first serve into the net. Not a single deuce. Not a single deuce in this match so far. And we might well not get one throughout the first set if it goes to a tiebreaker. For me, though, Felix will be the favourite going to the tiebreaker. And we have got a tiebreak. Casper goes long on the forehand return. I don't want to be too down on this match, but it has been pretty unremarkable so far. 6 games all tiebreak, 49 minutes. Some pretty lengthy rallies. No crazy drama, but some pretty lengthy rallies. Hence, we're almost at 50 minutes and we're in a tiebreak, despite not having a single deuce, never mind a break point. Casper to serve first. We all remember that tiebreak he had against Alcaraz. He won't be home for a repeat today, that's for sure. And it could be an ace, but Felix is challenging it. Who are we going for in this tiebreak? I'm going Felix. Mention the live chat. Just write Felix or Casper. I think this was in. Yep, just click the line. One love. One love. I mean, I think tension is great. We can't always have Federer Nadal 2008 or or Nadal, Djokovic in some of their epics as well. 2021 semi-final in Roland Garros, especially like that third set. We can't always just have tennis from the gods. So basically, my preferred option is take the Dominic team. One point all. The Dominic team Zverev final of the US Open is a good example in 2020. Okay, it wasn't maybe the best quality. Both players are sensational and certainly can play much better on their day. But for the first two sets, I don't know where Dominic Thiem was. And then also for the last three sets, I don't really know where Zverev was. But it was dramatic, and I like that. So I still like the final. I still watched that final thinking that was great. Better than, say, take the French Open final this year where, of course, Rafa's level was just supreme, as it so often is on Philippe Chatrier. But it wasn't that dramatic, really. I guess the comparison, I tell you what, here's probably a really good comparison, both involving Dominic Thiem. The straight sets win that Dominic Thiem had 7-6, 7-6 against Rafa at the ATP Tour Finals. Compare that match, which was straight sets, but the level was insane at 2 years ago. By the way, they're just still on serve. It's 2-1 to Felix Casper serving against that US Open final, which was probably even more dramatic because it was a 5-set, super tiebreaker and ebbed and flowed, but the quality wasn't there. Casper wins the point 2-all. I would take the Rafa Dominic Thiem match, which was just sensationally high level throughout, even though it was straight sets, even though it was 7-6, 7-6, even though it was an ATP Tour Finals round robin match rather than US Open Finals. So I guess does that answer your question, Ghosty, that overall I would take quality, but we don't want 6-2, 6-4, 6-3. Even if there's just a lot of quality going on, I'll still take the US Open Final of 2020. Ooh, is it net cord? Is it going to help him win the point? No, it's not. No, it's not. Casper Ruud, take a bow, my friend. You kept your composure when all around you were perhaps losing theirs. I say all around you. I mean, nobody was really losing their composure. Maybe just me. But it was unlucky with the net cord, but he still recovered and still won the point at the net. So 3-2, still going with serve. Kind of mirroring, really, as the set progressed, really pretty similar. 3-2 Casper Ruud, Felix to serve. It's been a solid start for the Norwegian, but a lot will depend on the next 5 minutes. Felix goes long with the first serve. He's missed a few first serves today. Let's have a quick look at some of these stats. 7 aces, 1 double fault. I guess that's not a bad return, but it just feels as though, despite him being comfortable on serve, double fault! Double fault. Félix Auger-Aliassime. 4-2 Casper Ruud. Intrigue level raised. As Tony Nadal, I nearly called him Rafa Nadal there. As Tony Nadal looks down at his phone, I don't know what he's looking at. Yeah, it's just they always seem to produce great matches. I'm thinking US Open 2018. I'm thinking Australian Open 2020 and also ATP Tour Finals 2020. Just sensational matches, despite not all of them going into deciding sets. I mean, obviously the US Open final, US Open quarterfinal of 2018 with a deciding set tiebreaker was probably as nail-biting as it could get, but there was 4 sets in Australia and straight sets in the ATP Tour Finals of 2020, but sensational matches. Yep, agree, Ghosty. 4-2, though. I tell you what, if Casper was to win this point, first serve, though, because it clipped the net, so it's a let. Anybody in Bonn, by the way, near the Hauptbahnhof, feel free to pick me up a coffee and bring it over. Hauptbahnhof main station. And it's a good serve from Felix. He needed that. He's a mini breakdown, but it could have been oh so much worse. So it's 4-3 Casper Ruud. Casper Ruud desperate to hold these 2 points, though. He's been pretty solid on serve. Can he stay solid on serve? Neither player went to juice, as I've mentioned so many times already. And Casper hasn't dropped a point on his serve as yet in this tiebreak. Only one drop a point at serve, and that was from Felix a minute ago. Here we go. 4-3. Good first serve from him, but it's now he's in the rally. It's in the rally. Forehand to the backhand slice. He's in trouble here, Casper, I think. Oh, he's gone wide. It's 4-all. 4-all. Suggestion that it was out. There's a challenge, I think, coming. So it might not be 4-all, but I think it was out. And the umpire suggests it was just out. But let's have a look at the challenge that Casper is offering up here. Oh, it's close, but it is indeed out. The umpire, with her gesticulation, was absolutely spot on. It's 4 points all. And I was just saying Casper would be desperate. He would. Oh, I tell you what, this could be a momentum change. I know they're just on serve now, but imagine Felix wins this point. Huge point. Huge point in this set. Huge point in this match. 4 points all. Casper to serve. He needs to hold this one. Gets his first serve in. And Felix is long. It's 5-4. Big point, that. Big point. Yeah, I had that in my mind. I actually was going to mention it. The problem with that match was that I think Zheng lose the second set 6-love, was it? Or 6-1? I think she had an injury as well, didn't she? Which was a real shame because I think nobody pushed Iga harder and in that period of also the unbeaten run that she had, but nobody pushed her harder at the French Open at all. I think she only dropped 1 set in the whole tournament, and that was in that match. It was great for the first set was sensational. Third set was pretty good. Second set, no. So that's the problem. If it was 3 really, really good sets, then perhaps that would be changing. Okay, Felix to serve. Yeah, but especially set 2, Ghosty. Okay, 4-5, Felix. I'll come back to matches of the year in a minute. 4-5, Felix to serve. Second serve. Backhand Casper. Forehand Felix. Backhand Casper. Forehand Felix. Changing it up to the forehand now of Casper. Forehand Felix. This is huge. They're all huge right now. Oh, Felix goes wide. 2 set points for Casper Ruud. Ghosty and I have gone Felix in straight sets. Ghosty and I said Felix would win this tiebreak, and yet it's the Norwegian who has 2 set points. One on the Felix serve, and then he'll have 1 on his own serve if Felix wins this point. Anyway, 4-6. Here we go. Huge, huge, huge. Into the net. Second serve for Casper Ruud to look at here. Four, 6. Backhand return. Of course, he goes to the backhand. And Felix goes long. Felix has gone long. And it's Casper Ruud has won the first set. Felix is very disappointed. He's muttering to himself and maybe his coaching staff. Oh, my goodness. 59 minutes on the clock. And Casper Ruud takes the first set. Who would have thought? Not necessarily the most dramatic set. Not necessarily the set with the highest quality. But as Shrihari said on the Popcorn Tennis podcast that they previewed with this tournament, intriguing indeed. Let's have a look at some of the stats anyway. Felix there with 13 winners to 8, but it's the unforced errors count where he's really lost out. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that first set? Ghosty and I getting it completely wrong. Just getting it completely wrong. But there we go. I guess everybody had Felix down. Of course, one person who did say that Felix was going to go out in the group stage, by the way, was our good friend Mario, who we had on the show just the other day. He said Felix going out. He had Fritz going through. Of course, Fritz and Nadal will be in action later. That'll be coming up for you live this evening on Talking Tennis. 5 to 9, all the build-up to the match. Bit of a preview for you there, plus the match live, and then also a bit of a dissection of the match afterwards. Yeah, let me know in the live chat some of your matches of the year. And let's get to 600 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed already, if not, why not? Yeah. Aren't we all, Ghosty? Aren't we all? So, Casper Ruud, first set, done. 7-6. Felix not looking happy, really. Not looking happy at all. He's not a happy bunny. So, anyway, the title of the interview I had with Petchy the other day was
iconic trophy, legendary evening, a night.
Go. Did you hear that? Hopefully you did.
For history. Here we are at the Rod Laver Arena, the final match of this year's Australian Open.
There you go. That's a little tease for you. Little tease.
Twilight here in Melbourne. Another beautiful day.
Another beautiful evening. What a match that was. Yeah, I'll be posting that probably sometime in December. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these videos. And of course, many of them are live. Not all, but 90% of the stuff we do is live. And it's breaking news, it's matches, it's reviews, it's analysis, it's everything you can imagine. And make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you can watch the reviews as and when they happen. Okay, second set. Felix. He's going to have to regain his composure. As I say, I don't think he served great in that first set, despite not really being under pressure. I think Casper Ruud, by his standards, did serve well. It's probably the different levels that we have for both players. We just have higher expectations for Felix, on serve especially. But Casper served well. And Casper did well to regain the momentum. He had the mini break. By the way, there's another double fault there for Felix. He obviously had a double fault in the tie break, and he's now started this second set with a double fault, so it's love 15. No problem, Ghosty. Ghosty, it's been great having you on board again, and I'm sure we'll be crossing paths again very soon. We'll be covering the match tonight as well. I think we'll have Miles on board for the night match, maybe Ashley too. Felix in trouble here. Felix is in trouble. It's not looking good for the Canadian right now. I'm telling you, not good at all. Hmm. 15 all. Okay, let's get back to this match. 30-15 now, Felix. He'll be desperate to hold serve. If you lose serve in here, I mean, you're in big trouble, especially the way Casper's been serving today. But 30-15. I still think Felix will win this match, by the way. Let me know if you think otherwise. 30-15, Félix Auger-Aliassime. He's been on fire throughout the indoor hardcourt season, and yet lost his last match to Holger Rune. in Paris, Bercy. Maybe a little bit of a surprise, although Rune has been sensational too. I would say Rune, Djokovic and Felix have been the best three players in the world in the last few weeks. Net called there, but Felix wins the point, 40-15. Yeah, you could probably put those three in any order, whichever order you prefer. But those three players, it's those three that have been just sensational the last few weeks. What do we think about Rafa here, by the way? Does Rafa have any chance at this tournament? Have any chance? I mean, to get through the group, I guess you'd favour his chances. I mean, it's at least 50-50, I suppose. But after that, it'll be Medvedev, Tsitsipas, or Djokovic perhaps lying in wait. An ace there from Felix, meaning one love. Good hold. Important hold. By the way, this was my prediction before the match. It's not looking good now, is it? Just looking at some of Ruud's return positions. I mean, neither player have threatened each other on the serve. I don't know if that's excellent serving or bad returning. You could put it in either category, I guess. $15 love, Casper Ruud. What's going on at the Billie Jean Cup? What are your thoughts on that, by the way? Obviously, we've got the British team went out last night after a pretty sensational week. By the way, that was a wild forehand from Casper Ruud there, 15-all. We've obviously got the final there today. We've got Jack is there, by the way. So, yeah, Switzerland in the final, of course. They win the final last year, but they lost. Switzerland against Australia. Just trying to think, who did Switzerland lose in the final? Was it Canada they lost to in the final last year? I know they were a bit aggrieved by it. Anyway, it's Switzerland against Australia after, I think Australia beat Britain last night, right? Ruud on the forehand there. It's good forehand, winning the point, 40-15. Yeah, so Britain lost to Australia last night, the Billie Jean King Cup. I mean, they did sensationally well to qualify, bearing in mind they were in a really sticky situation. And they haven't been in the final since 1981. So, I mean, it was a surprise run in terms of probably the level of depth. I hope they don't mind me saying that it was a surprise. Heather Watson lost to Storm Sanders last night in the first match. But then Harriet Dart beating Tomljanovic. I mean, it's an impressive win, but Australia still managed to progress. I guess Switzerland are favourites in the final. Bencic, etc. Oh, it's a poor backhand from Felix into the net. Very poor. One game all. I know that the captain, Anne Coetefong, said last night that it was super hurtful that they were so close to making the final. But missing Raducanu through injury, did we really think that Britain would get that far even? Did well. And the final's intriguing. So yeah, Jack is there. Yeah, United playing half an hour. So basically, Casper Ruud, I want you to get this done in straight sets so I can get off to enjoy the United match, which starts in 36 minutes. But the way this match is going, I think it could be another tiebreak. Good serve there, Felix, ace, wide. If you're Felix and you're a big football fan and you want to see the United match, do you just go, you know what? Yeah, Casper, have it in straight sets. I'm going to get off and watch the United match. Obviously not. 15 love, and it's his 9th ace of the match. But some double faults have cost him, particularly in the tiebreak. That one double fault goes down the tee. It's wide. Second serve here for Casper. He's attacking this one on the backhand. Forehand now, Casper. I think he's really got to go for it, Casper. I mean, I'm not saying he's done anything wrong today. I mean, he's just hanging in there, but it'd be really good to see one of these players go for it. I mean, normally Felix is the one that go for it, of course, but it's a nice start to the point. This is turning into a bit of an epic rally. Good change of turn there from Felix. Felix, they're going for the drop shot. I don't think it's good enough, though. The lob. Ah, well done, Casper Ruud. Well done, Casper Ruud. That was an epic point, 15 all. The lob wasn't quite good enough to turn out to be a winner, but Felix getting his racket on it, but it wasn't enough. But the deftness of touch there at the end of that point from Casper was really impressive. I mean, the lob didn't quite well. It worked in terms of effectiveness, but that was nice. That was nice. It was an unorthodox point in many respects, an unorthodox end to it as well. But tell you what, very nice. And his team punched the air. What do we think about Casper Ruud and the team's outfits? They all look like Formula One drivers. That was a 24-shot rally, by the way. Good serve, though, there from Felix. Goes for the 1-2, a drive volley, and he wins the point, 30-15. Good drive volley. I love a good drive volley. Who doesn't? $30-15, Felix. Felix, where are you going with this serve? Down the tee. Forehand return from Casper Ruud. Drop shot from Felix doesn't work. It didn't work. 30 all. By the way, Mellors, thanks for subscribing. Great to have you on board. That drop shot just didn't work. $30 all. Casper Ruud. Are we going to get our first juice of the match here? Casper goes into the attack. So ends up being a defensive return, and in the end, he loses the point. 40-30 Felix. So we're trying to get to 600 subscribers by the end of this week. Can we make it? We need 87 more subscriptions. Casper Ruud to return, 40-30. Still no deuces. Are we going to get one here? He's got to win this point, but it's an ace from Felix. Good serve down the tee. 2-1, changeover. Again, comfortable serve. I mean, it's not really been the most dramatic of matches, that's for sure.
Ready. Play.
Yeah, a little promo.
Yeah, a warm day and so much to savour, of course, ahead of what is one of the hardest matchups for both of these two players in tonight's final. Daniil Medvedev up against Rafael Nadal.
That, by the way, is a little teaser for the show we're going to have on in a few weeks that you'll be watching. Reviews of some of the matches of the year. That one, obviously, Nadal, Medvedev, but we've got plenty more to come for you during the off-season. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Back to today. Predictions for this match? Predictions for the tournament? What are we thinking? Are we thinking this is Djokovic's to lose? He's won this title many times before, but he's not won it. I think, was it 2015 he last won it? Rafa Nadal never won it, of course. Five ATP Finals wins that he's had in total. Among, I think, 90 career titles. But yeah, I think the last time he won it was 2015. It's a long time ago. Okay, Casper Ruud serving. 1-2. Maybe I was wrong to suggest that Casper Ruud should start attacking because it's the lengthy rallies I think he's doing pretty well in. But Felix is cutting a frustrated figure right now. Shouting, muttering, suggesting things to his team. Too many unforced errors, Felix, my friend. Just 3 from Casper Ruud in this entire match and 10 from Felix. Yeah, Casper's taken it carefully, let's say. Maybe that's one of the reasons why it's not been the most spectacular of matches. Good serve there from Casper, by the way. I think he tricked Felix. Felix went the wrong way. Almost like a penalty going the wrong way. 30-love Casper Ruud. Fourth ace of the match. But Felix just getting it all wrong. Anyway, 30-love. And it's another ace from Casper Ruud, this time down the tee. Bringing up, I think, his 4th ace of the match. Anyway, it's 40-love Casper. 5th ace, 5th ace. This time he gets his first serve into the net, but he's got 3 game points. Casper Ruud. Oh, double fault, Casper Ruud, my friend. Double fault. We were just praising him for the lack of unforced errors. Then he hits in a double fault. First double fault of the match for the Norwegian. Still, if you're going to do a double fault, 40-love up, beginning of the second set, having won the first set, not so bad. Forehand Felix, forehand Casper Ruud. Casper Ruud's in a bit of trouble here, and he's lost the point. He applauds his opponent, 40-30. 40-30, Casper Ruud has an advantage, but he was at 40-love, double fault, but then there was some good play there from Felix. Hats off to the Canadian, and hats off is what Casper Ruud acknowledged there with that nice little applause for his opponent. $40-30. Could get a juice here. We've not had one yet. Casper Ruud on the forehand. Backhand Felix. Forehand Casper. Forehand to forehand. Oh, Casper goes into the net. From 40-love, it's now juice for the first time in this match. And Casper Ruud, disappointing there. Double fault at 40-love. And then a fairly easy approach shot there for Casper, but he puts it into the net. Maybe Felix should try and drag Casper into the net. I mean, he's okay at the net, but he's not the tallest player on tour. Backhand return Felix. Forehand Casper Ruud. Forehand Felix. Forehand Casper. Forehand to forehand right now. This is a big point. Backhand now Felix. Backhand Casper. Forehand Felix. Casper just hanging in there, maybe hoping to draw the error, but Casper's in a bit of trouble now. Ooh, just clipped the net on the way over there, still in the middle of a rally. Some slices here from oh, he's done well there, Casper Ruud. He just hung in there, hung in there, waited for the error from Felix, and it came. Don't blame Felix, but Casper Ruud, smart tennis there, just hanging in there. That was a 20-shot rally there. I think it was probably the second longest of the match, there or thereabouts. I know we had a 24-shot rally just a few minutes ago. Advantage Casper Ruud. This will be a big hold. Still not had a break point in this match, but we have had a juice finally. Advantage Ruud. Where are you going with this serve? Going out wide to the backhand. Forehand Casper. Forehand Felix. Backhand error from Casper Ruud. There's been a few unforced errors in this game. I think we've had as many unforced errors in this game than we've had an entire match from Casper. It's back to juice. Casper Ruud serving. Second serve. Are we going to get our first break point of the match? This time backhand return from Felix. Forehand Casper Ruud. Backhand into the net from Felix. So it's advantage Casper Ruud. Game point again. Turning into a pretty important game now. This could be crucial either way. I mean, if Felix gets the break, Felix is, change the momentum of this match. But if Ruud was to hold, be huge. 1-2, advantage Casper Ruud to serve. Where are you going to go? Trying to go to the backhand, but he hits it into the net. So it's a second serve for Felix. Casper Ruud lost 4 matches now since the US Open. Only won 2. Forehand from Felix. Backhand from Casper. Backhand again, Casper Ruud. Some good depth on his... Now he's going to approach the net. He's into the net. Oh, Felix goes for the lob, but it's long. It's a big hold there from Casper Ruud. 2 games all to the delight of his team. Six and a half minutes that game. Two games all. Are we headed to another tiebreak? Long way to go, yeah, of course. Felix to serve. Where are you going with this one? Goes down the tee, and it's an ace. It's an ace. He's loving his aces at the moment. What do we make of the Adidas outfit from Felix? I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan. Had a few questionable outfits this year, Adidas. The Bavarian kit maker. Goes down the tee. Forehand return from Casper. Is a little defensive. This time, Felix into the net. Good volleys there from Felix, and it's enough to win the point. But Casper maybe should have done better with that forehand passing attempt that went into the net. 30 love, Felix. Two games all. 30 love, Felix. Still not yet to have a break point in this entire match. And Felix hasn't even been pushed to deuce, despite my question marks over some of his serving. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh. He's not even been pushed to deuce yet. Good serve down the tee. Ace, Felix. 40 love. 3 game points for the Canadian. 11 aces now for Felix. Where are you going with this one, Felix? Going out wide. It's an unreturnable, and it's 3 games to 2 for Félix Auger-Aliassime. Let's have a quick look to see what the Twitter world is telling us. Don't know how much longer we're going to have Twitter for, of course. What's going on Twitter? Yeah, Jack, they're tweeting from last night, talking about the heartbreak that Team GB had at the Billie Jean Cup, which I was just touching on earlier. Heartbreak indeed. Australia there winning through. Team GB going down, Jack Edward, they're tweeting. He is in Glasgow right now, covering that. Heartbreakers Team GB went down to Australia in the final situation there with a tie break. And Australia, of course, will play Switzerland, who beat Czech Republic last night. Make sure you give us a follow on Twitter. Talking Tennis TT. Darren Cahill, he's been tweeting quite a bit recently. Of course, his man, Yannick Sinner, didn't make these finals. He's had a few injury issues as well, but he didn't make the top 8. I think, again, you put Sinner in this, in there, a fit and firing Sinner, and then you're sort of changing the dynamic. Imagine having a fit and firing Sinner in this 8, having a fit and firing Carlitos, and maybe Holger Rune as well. That changes everything. You've got 8 unbelievable players then. But Casper Ruud playing well today, I guess. Solid from Casper Ruud. Is that probably the most appropriate word for him as a player anyway? 2-3 he's serving. Oh yeah, what do we think about some of these outfits? Been pretty cool, I suggest. I think Daniel in particular, that was my suggestion, that amongst the 8 outfits, I thought his was probably the coolest. Steph and Rafa, not bad as well. Those were the 3 standouts for me. The other one's a bit more questionable. Maybe Andrei Rublev. Pretty cool. Yeah. I wouldn't have Casper Ruud in there, though, with these outfits personally. But I guess it's a personal take. Anyway, 15 all. Tony Nadal there, looking on. Is he going to be attending both matches today, bearing in mind his nephew will be playing this evening? Djokovic, by the way, today has been practicing with Holger Rune. Of course, Holger Rune is the person who beat him recently in Paris-Bercy. And Holger Rune is, of course, the first alternate, meaning if anyone was to pick up an injury, Holger Rune would fill in. But bearing in mind, it looks like all players will be fit and starting their matches. Holger Rune would, if he was to turn up at some point in this tournament, would only be a bit part player. Basically, what the first alternate means is that as Felix goes long on the backhand return there, he had a little steady all on the Ruud serve. So Ruud's getting under a bit more pressure now on his serve. Although I think Felix is challenging this, but I do think it did go long. Yeah, so obviously Holger Rune is the first alternate, meaning if somebody was to get injured, let's have a quick look at this. Did it go out? Yeah, it went fairly far out, actually. So unusual challenge, bearing in mind how far that was out. Yeah, so Holger Rune would only be participating if one player or another got injured at all. At any point during the round robin stages, Holger Rune would fill in. But I think unless he was to fill in before the first group stage match, or perhaps the second, he would have little or no chance of qualifying. If you follow. Forehand here for Casper Ruud. And Felix goes wide, so it's 40-30. Game point, Casper Ruud. But remember his last service game, we got our first deuce of the match. So maybe Felix will be feeling as though he's getting a bit closer. And it has been a few unforced errors from Felix that ends up costing him in these games. Are we going to get another deuce? Are we going to get a first break point? Probably not, but let's have a look. Casper goes down the tee. It's a fault, so it's a second serve for Felix to look at. As we hit the 1.5 hour mark for this match. I think Casper's appealing, challenging, I should say, but it is long. Second serve. Forehand return from Felix. Forehand long, Felix. Game, Casper Ruud. 3 games all. Yeah, it's getting tense times, particularly for Felix, because he's under a bit of pressure now, bearing in mind he's already lost the first set. 3 games all, Felix to serve. If Casper was to get a break now, boy, oh boy, oh boy. I had Felix making the semi-finals. I think I even had Felix making the final, did I? Anyway, I certainly had Felix getting to the semi-finals, so that's looking a bit shaky right now. How's this service game? First point, crucial first point. Casper wins the first point. Intriguing. Intriguing being the word of the day, it seems. Here we go, Felix. Are you going to get the first serve in? No, you're not. Clips the top of the net and goes wide. Second serve, Holger-Rune. Casper Ruud even. Scandinavian, but completely wrong person. Casper Ruud, 2. Look at second serve. Excuse me. He's really deep for these second serve returns. He's loving the second serve return point. Hits the line there from Felix. Some good depth, though, here from Felix. Oh, but he's shanked it. It's love 15. It's really interesting how Casper Ruud on the second serve, really deep return position. Looks like he's maybe going a bit closer to the baseline for the first serve than he is the second. Interesting. Love 15. This will have a hugely different perspective if he suddenly went to love 30. He's not pushed Felix to juice. I'm reminding us again, he's not pushed Felix to juice at all in this match thus far. And yet he is a set up and he's under pressure. He's putting his opponent under pressure here. Goes for the backhand return. It's a good shot from Felix. It's enough to help him win the point, forcing the error from Casper Ruud. 15 all. Hi, Lexi. How's it going? Are you supporting the Scandinavian today, Casper Ruud? He's doing well so far. He's doing well. Won the first set. Serving well. Yet to face a break point. The expectation on Felix obviously being greater. Interesting. Okay, hits the net on the first serve there, Felix. If Casper Ruud could win this point, very interesting times. But let's see. Played a good tiebreak, Casper, to be fair. You like Felix too. So give me a name. Who are you supporting? I like Felix. Who can't like Felix? It's a good name as well, Felix the cat. This is turning it. Oh, Felix goes wide. 15-30. Interesting times. Interesting times, Lexi. 15-30. Next point, huge. Felix wins it, probably holds. Casper Ruud wins it, maybe breaks. And maybe wins the match. Biggest point of the match so far. I know I've said that before, but it is. 15-30. Here we go. He'll be desperate for a first serve. Maybe he'll get an ace. Let's have a look. Clips the top of the net, goes wide. Second time in this game. It's the second time he's clipped the top of the net, and it's gone wide. Second serve, Casper Ruud. Look at that service position from Casper. Very interesting how he's going so much deeper for the second serve return. So deep. He's loving it. Is it enough to win this point? Let's have a look. He's on the defensive, though, here a bit, Casper. Couple of slices. Good depth on that slice. Felix goes long with a forehand. It's 15-40. 15-40. When you say, am I still out, do you mean not at home? Yes, I am at home now. I was in Spain last week, but now I'm back home in Germany. 15-40. Felix, 2 break points for Casper Ruud. Are they 2 mini match points, bearing in mind where we are in this match? Maybe I'm getting a bit carried away, but certainly 2 break points. Huge point, this one. 15-40. Felix, where are you going? Interesting tactic from Casper. He's attacking the first serve in terms of his court position. And it's a fault. So it's a second serve again. Look at him. He'll go back further. Really interesting, I think. 15-40. He's loving these second serve return positions. First break points that Felix has faced on his serve in this match. He's double faulted. And Casper Ruud breaks. Who saw this at the beginning of the match? Casper Ruud won the first set. He's leading 4-3 now with a break. Wow. We go for a change of ends. Look, I'm just going to put this on the screen. So next time you see, look at that second serve position. And he's loving it. He's loving it. And it's brought him up a break. It was interesting analysis on the TV as well, just showing it a bit earlier. And you can just see that he's about a meter further back for the second serve. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. By the way, Lexi, are you a big coffee fan as well? I finished my pot today. Are you a coffee fan like our good friend Sam? Yeah. I'm loving the coffee. I'm out of coffee. Basically, as soon as this match ends, I'm making another coffee and switching sports to football. I'm sitting back and enjoying this match, by the way. It's been fun. Let's have a look at some of the stats anyway. 11 aces from Félix. Maybe that's not so surprising. But those 3 double faults. He's double faulted, Félix, at just the worst possible moments. He double faulted in the tiebreak, ceding the momentum, if you like, there. And obviously Casper winning that tiebreak. And he's just double faulted at 15:40 at such a crucial time, such a crucial moment in the match. Now Casper just has to hold serve twice and he's won. Let's see. Be a terrible start for the Canadian. Coffee is the bane of your existence. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look because we're at a crucial moment now in the match. I keep saying that, but it's true. Backhand, Casper goes wide. Is now the pressure on Casper going to weigh on him? It's love 15 on the Casper Ruud serve. Casper serving, love 15. He served well today. He's yet to face a break point. He was under pressure a couple of games ago, but he did manage to hold. That was a huge hold, as it turned out, when he had a couple of juices on his serve. He's just hanging in there in the points, and he's just almost waiting for the error from Félix at the moment. Félix backhand return. Forehand into the net, though, from Casper. Maybe he went too big that time, losing a bit of patience. The patience that's got him to this stage of the match so far. He dumps a forehand into the net. Love 30, Casper Ruud. Interesting times. Make sure you hit that like button, people. Love 30. Rudy, into the net. Second serve, Félix to look at here. Interesting games. We've not had a break of serve in the whole match. Are we going to get 2 back-to-back? Casper, forehand return from Félix. It's a pretty decent one, but that's a good 1-2, Casper Ruud. 1-2. 15-30 to the relief of his team. You don't want to be going love 40 down. This is huge for both players. Félix breaks here. Who knows what will happen? Casper holds, and he's got one hand on the victory. Can you have a hand on a victory? Second serve. He's gone just wide with that serve. Second serve here. He'll be tantalizingly close to victory if he holds serve here. Forehand return, Félix. Forehand, Casper Ruud. Backhand, Félix. Forehand. Oh, Félix went for it with a backhand on the line, but he's missed it. 30 all. It's probably the right shot, but he just didn't execute it. Is Félix losing patience? Is it his impatience that's cost him today? 13 unforced errors from Félix on the backhand. 4 from Casper. Casper's really done well with the unforced errors today, not making too many. Forehand, Casper. It's a good shot on the forehand. Forehand again, Casper. He comes into the net and wins the point. 40-30, game point. He was in a really sticky situation there. 40-30 now. 1 point from a 5-3 lead. Obviously, Djokovic in action tomorrow evening. He's been practicing with Holger Rune this morning. We'll be covering his match, of course, on the channel tomorrow night. So make sure you tune in for that. Hit that notification bell. He's playing Tsitsipas, and what an epic they had a couple of weeks ago in Paris-Bercy. Back to here today, though. Casper Ruud serving. Backhand return. Backhand to the forehand of Felix. Backhand from Casper. Casper just remaining patient. Good switch up, though, there from Casper. Although good shot from both players. Backhand now. They're in the middle of a rally here. It's turning into a bit of an important rally. Forehand, good shot from Felix. Casper in a bit of trouble now, I'd suggest. Felix going big again on the forehand. It's a good shot from Felix, but still Casper hangs on. Excellent forehand winner, though. Come on, he says, it looks like. Deuce. Excellent winner there from Felix. Chose the right moment to go big on that occasion. Casper did well to hang in the rally, but just couldn't live with Felix in the end. Excellent shot there. Pulled the trigger at just the right time, and the execution nigh on perfect. Casper had no answer. Deuce. Deuce, deuce, deuce. 155 kilometers an hour. That's winner speed. Good serve from Casper. Is he going to go for the 1-2? He does. He comes into the net. He's got a smash. He's just got it. Yes, nice. Good smash. Advantage Casper Ruud. Game point. Casper Ruud. Really good play there from Casper. He's played well today. Patience is a virtue, and he's certainly extolling those virtues today with this very tidy performance, I would suggest. Advantage Casper Ruud. Goes down the tee. Clips the line, he suggests. Is it an ace? It's either an ace or a second serve. I think it did just clip the line, but let's have a look. It's being challenged. Is it going to be 5-3 or is it going to be a second serve? I think it did just clip the tee. Let's have a look. Just clip the line. Oh, how close was that? It's a millimeter in, and it's 5-3 Casper Ruud. 5-3, ladies and gentlemen. Casper Ruud, one game from victory. One game from victory, Casper Ruud. Boy, oh boy. So close, Lexi. So close. But listen, 0.1% in, 99.9% out, it's still in. And never has that been truer than that particular serve. Excellent news for the Norwegian, and terrible news for Felix. 3-5 down, serving to stay in the match. Of course, as well, the other advantage for Casper, of course, from winning today would be that's a good forehand winner there from Felix. 15-love. Another advantage, of course, for Casper to win today is if, for example, Casper was to win today in straight sets, he would also have the head-to-head advantage against Felix should they both finish level. So if they won one match out of 3 each, or if they won 2 matches out of 3 each, and they end up finishing level in the group, Casper Ruud would qualify by virtue of the fact that the head-to-head between the two players would be in Casper's favor. That is the tiebreaker if you finish level in the group, as Felix brings up another ace. He's brought up so many aces today, but it's been the double faults from Felix that's really cost him at crucial moments in the tiebreak and on his serve when he lost it a couple of games ago. His 13th ace of the match, but you know what? He could hit 20 aces in this match, and it won't matter. It'll be those double faults that may well have cost him. Let's see, though. 30-love Felix. Goes down the tee. 14th ace. 40-love. Race through this particular game, but it's really going to be probably all about whether Casper can serve it out. We've seen so many times in the past where players have tried to serve it out, even at this tournament. I remember Rafa a set up and serving for the match against Daniel Medvedev a couple of years ago. Loses his serve to love. Medvedev ends up winning that second set, ends up winning the match, ends up winning the semi-final, and ends up winning the whole tournament, despite the fact that he was a set down with his opponent, Rafa Nadal, serving for the match. So it's not done by any stretch of the imagination. Casper's still got to serve this out, assuming that Felix holds serve hits. 40-love. Look at that second serve return position there. But on this occasion, he puts it into the net. Félix holds. He's asking the question of his opponent. He's keeping his opponent honest, as we say.
Ready. Play.
So, Casper Ruud serving for the match. What do we think? Do we think he's going to win this? Who would have seen this one coming, by the way? Casper Ruud potentially winning this match in straight sets. Interesting, by the way, Félix is blowing his nose there a bit. I saw him doing that a bit at the beginning of the match. I also saw the tissues put there. So maybe he is feeling a little under the weather. Maybe. Maybe that's the reason for this slightly under par or subpar performance from him. But listen, Casper's just been solid. Solid. Félix has been a bit erratic. That's been enough so far. It's not done yet. By the way, you may well see we've got new partners now at TNNS with their lovely little layout. Make sure you download the TNNS app to keep up to date with all things tennis, but make sure you subscribe to the channel as well, Talking Tennis, or follow us on Twitter at Talking Tennis TT. As the players now, Casper Ruud picking up the balls, ready to serve for the match. Won the first set 7-6. It's 5-4 Casper Ruud. He is serving for the match to win in straight sets and put himself in an excellent position to progress. Félix would then be under pressure, probably having to win both of his last two matches, which will be against Taylor Fritz and Rafa Nadal. I tell you what, if you win those two matches, you deserve to go through. Anyway, Casper Ruud serving for a straight sets win over arguably the form player coming into the tournament in Félix Auger-Aliassime. He won all those matches back-to-back. He won all of his serves back-to-back. And yet today, it's just not been there for him. 15-love, Casper Ruud. 3 points from victory. One hour, 48 minutes on the clock. We've not quite reached 2 hours. Can you get this done, Casper? Clips the net and goes out. So it's a second serve for Félix. Remember, he got to love 30 in the previous game on the Casper serve. Can he do it again? Well, he can't do love 30 again, of course. But anyway, he's gone long on the return, Félix. It's been the story of his day. He's not even pushed Casper Ruud to a break point. And I know Ruud has made improvements on his serve this year, but you'd expect Félix. Second service points won. Casper Ruud, 82%. Félix has got to be winning more of those second serve points on the Casper serve. So it's 30-love Casper Ruud, 2 points from victory. Second serve again to look at, but we just saw that statistic. He wins more than 8 out of 10 of his service points on the second serve. Let's see if this ends up going that way as well. 30-love Casper Ruud. It's a double fault. It's a double fault from Casper Ruud. No, it's not. Sorry, it's a second serve. I apologize. Hold that in, Johnny boy. Hold that thought. 30-love, second serve. Goes down the tee. Good return from Félix. Good backhand from Félix. They're exchanging backhands now, but now it's on the forehand of Félix. Backhand Casper. Forehand Félix. Now he's going into the forehand of Casper. Backhand slice from Casper. Goes wide. 30-15. I think Casper is challenging this, though. But I think it was wide. We'll have a look. It certainly seemed to be floating wide. But let's have a look. Casper Ruud, backhand slice. Where's that bounce? It's close, but it is out. It is out. 30-15. Yeah, I just think Félix is just a tad under the weather, I think. I mean, it's not to really give much of a reason, but just seems to be a bit under the weather today. Okay, forehand Casper Ruud. Is it enough to help him win the point? It is. 2 match points, Casper Ruud. 2 match points. Two match points, Casper Ruud. You've played brilliantly today. Just so solid. So solid crew. Match point. First one, Casper. You're going to get your first serve in. You are. He's done it. He's done it. Casper Ruud, 7-6, 6-4. Yeah, Lexi, exactly. Felix just didn't seem to be at the races today. Just a bit off colour. He'll be hoping that he can be feeling a bit better in a couple of days' time, and he'll have to. Obviously, with Rafa Nadal and Taylor Fritz on the horizon for him, Casper Ruud winning in straight sets, arguably having 1 foot in the semi-finals already. Thanks, Lexi. That's great. Let's just give you a quick analysis of the match, though. What are my thoughts? Well, let's talk about Casper Ruud first of all. Excellent serving today. Didn't face a break point in the entire match. That tells you something. Also, the unforced errors count from Casper Ruud very low. It looks like I think it was just 5 in the whole match, perhaps, from Casper Ruud, which tells you enough. And of course, the number of unforced errors from his opponent, Felix, also tells you something. That 9 unforced errors, it says there, from Felix, but it felt like a lot more. And of course, it was the double faults from Felix today that really cost him at such crucial moments in the match. We had a double fault in the tiebreak. I think it was at 4-all maybe, where they were on serve, I think. And Casper took advantage of that by winning that tiebreak. And then at 15-40 in the second set, 15-40, Felix double faults. Loses his serve. Casper never under pressure on his serve today. He served really well. He's improved a lot his serve this year. It's been a pretty good year for the Norwegian. 2 Grand Slam finals, albeit he lost both of those. But now, tell you what, Casper Ruud, take a bow, my friend. You have won this match and you've done it solidly. Yeah, hats off to the Norwegian and his fans as he signs the camera, as the players do. He gives a smile there. He's obviously very happy. Felix a bit off color today. We've seen him blowing his nose and puffing a bit today. Maybe that'll come out later. Looks like he's written something in Italian there. Grazie. Torino, I think. Thank you, Turin. Thanks. And a little love heart there. Nice. Practicing my Italian there. My Italian is not great, I have to say. I managed to understand a little bit, fortunately, because I speak some Spanish. See you soon, Lexi. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, I know Felix only got 3 double faults today, but they were at huge moments. And that really cost him. So we look here. Actually, I've got some stats here that suggest that Casper Ruud made 16 unforced errors. Either way, he was very solid. Interestingly, the winners count, of course, Felix, as you would expect, winning that one 26-14. But it's the double faults. It's the double faults that cost Felix today in a big way. Yeah, but Casper's so solid on serve. Casper, by the way, there was only 1 break. Well, there were 2 break points, but basically no break points for Felix in the entire match. Tells you 2 stories. One, that Felix wasn't returning great, especially on the second serve. I mean, how can you really, about 80% of almost 80% Casper Ruud on it, won on his second serve in terms of points today. Felix has got to be doing better on the return. Hats off to Casper in terms of the way he served today, But yeah, disappointing. And Felix now under pressure. He's probably got to win both of those matches against Fritz and Nadal. That'll be no easy stretch. I had Felix to win in my predictions today, so how wrong could I be? Listen, guys, for those of you stopping by for the first time, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe as well. We're trying to get to 600 subscribers this week. We're over the 500 mark. Can we get to 600 by the end of the week? Who knows? Hopefully we can. But listen, congratulations to Casper Ruud. Tennis fans, thanks for stopping by.